Good morning, everyone. I think. Are we on? I'm trying to pull it up on my phone so that I can see. Oh, there we go. We're live. There I am going through my phone. Oh, quiet. It's this session ends up being just bloopers all the way around. So, good morning. I don't know if anybody's out there yet or not because I don't see anybody on there. Oh, I see 3 people. So we're starting off on in small numbers, but hopefully that'll increase just like last week. So good morning, everyone. This is Mary. Mary is Mary has a long list of things that she did, especially when she first got here, right?
Yes.
So when you first got here, it was helping in the school.
Mhm.
So what all did you do over in the school? Yeah, before and after
So before and after care, and the school choir.
The school choir.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an elective at first.
Yes.
Now you're in charge
It's a
of
club.
the music program in the school.
Yeah.
But then you also were helping with the junior high youth group.
Yes.
RCIA.
Yes.
And back up to Victoria, right? Helping her with things, but now you're in charge of the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The choir that doesn't exist right now.
Yeah, we can't really sing as choirs right now.
No.
They exist.
Haven't had a rehearsal.
There. You exist, but just not in the mass. Yeah. I only hope to get back to things. Oh, the Lord only knows when, I suppose. So, I'm kind of excited because Mary and I did something a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago now. It was like an advertisement for RCIA.
Yeah.
And we had this whole thing kind of scripted, but not really. And she had all these questions that she was going to ask me, like someone who didn't know anything really about the church and was not a part of the church. And then, so we get into the video, and she just starts rapid firing questions at me.
I was like, curious.
I can't keep up. So I'm excited because today she can't ask any questions. I've told her that she cannot ask questions.
I'm very disappointed. I had a list.
So we're answering your questions. So if you have questions that you want to ask, type those out. And then I'm going to see them on my phone. My phone is right here. And when I see question marks, then hopefully, and sometimes I miss questions, so I'm sorry, that's just the way that it goes sometimes. It's hard to keep an eye on you, keep an eye on her, keep an eye on Jason, who's running the camera for us behind the scenes. Jason, wave to the camera if you can. I don't know, can you do that? Oh, I didn't see it there, but anyways. So, yeah, and we actually have coffee. We could cheers, yeah. We actually have coffee this week, thanks to Mary. Mary brought me coffee.
But you know who it's really thanks to is I got a very generous card from Seminarian John.
Oh.
Yeah, and he had a little gift card in there, so this is actually courtesy of our seminarian.
Oh, well, thanks to John then too, who's kind of packing right now actually, so he's not here.
Join us.
Yeah, he couldn't join us. He's up at the rectory still. He's actually leaving today, so keep him in your prayers also. Yeah. Good news too. We have 2 new seminarians that are coming on Friday, so they'll be arriving on Friday, hopefully here next week. And the other thing besides coffee that we have is not donuts. So we don't have donuts. And I went into the SOS room and I was like, well, I suppose potatoes could be a good substitute.
I don't know why you thought that.
I don't know either, but it looked funny to me.
Definitely looks funny. That's true.
I thought they were healthier than donuts.
I'm not sure that's true.
Potatoes are healthier than donuts. Especially if you eat the
Sugar's
skin.
good for you.
You have to clean the skin well, but
yes.
So we figured we could.
It's a good prop.
Yeah, it is, and every once in a while, just take a bite.
You first.
No, probably won't. We were talking before about maybe deep frying them instead of the donuts. Okay, I'm going to look to see if we have any questions. Hello, Father. My name is Wendy, and I was wondering, will this coronavirus go away? I wish that this coronavirus would go away. I don't know what the answer to that question is. I think only God knows that. I suppose it's reflective even of the reading that we had today. We don't know the time or the hour, right? When Jesus will return, nor do we know when this coronavirus will go away. But I think it's an opportunity for us to go to a deeper conversion, a deeper level of conversion. And I've said this time and again, really, since the beginning. I've preached about it, especially, I think, the first couple of weeks. I said, in some ways, maybe we're in a kind of exile, like the Jewish people in the Old Testament went into exile when they turned away from the Lord. And so many people have turned away from God, and we've pushed them out of our courts, and we've pushed them out of our schools, and we've pushed them out of everything. And so he said, okay, if that's what you want, then that's what you can have. And even and within our faith, really, we've done that in many ways too, pushed them out of even our faith as Catholics. We want to believe what we want to believe rather than what God gives to us. And so it's time for us to come back to a place of a deeper conversion. So, yeah, with the grace of God, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the virus is going to go away. I think we're going to have to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And hopefully there will be medicines that will be created. And if they come up with a vaccine, hopefully they're doing that in a moral way also, which the bishops have been pushing for as well. So, yeah. The next question on here that I see anyway. Oh, Dale asked if we're going to have potato fritters. Actually, potato fritters. Wait, I think Mary said beforehand. She said our apple fritters have started to grow. So
yeah, this one's sprouting.
It's actually sprouting. So it's a potato fritter, as Dale said. Anyway. And then Priscilla asks how we introduced the two new seminarians. Where'd your question go? It just disappeared on me. Two seminarians, considering our limited circumstances. It'll be probably on video also. So my hope is that they'll be at Mass the next weekend. And we have, again, remember, next weekend Mass schedule changes.
Yep.
So we have, tell us, who do we have?
We have our normal 5 p.m. vigil. And then on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. will be the Spanish Mass. And then at 10 a.m. will be another English Mass. It'll be the Mass for Sunday, Pentecost Sunday, which is different in terms of the readings and propers from the Mass for the Vigil Mass for Pentecost.
Ooh, maybe that's a good question. Maybe we should ask this question. This is just popping into my head, so this is dangerous. Yeah. So, Mary had asked me, are we going to do like the 4 readings? So for the Vigil Mass of Pentecost, there's 4 Old Testament readings, the New Testament reading, and then the Gospel, right?
It's kind of reminiscent of the Easter Vigil. Yeah.
So she was like, are we going to do that? And I was like, ooh.
It's an option. You don't have to.
But maybe we should ask all of you. So let's see what people say. We're going to do an unofficial poll just in the comments, right? And I'll look at them later. So either you say yes to all of the readings for the Vigil Mass, and we would do that Saturday, and then record, obviously, still a different Mass on Sunday. Both of them will be live. But what should we do? Should we do all of the Vigil readings or not? It's an option, so why not put it out there? Yeah.
And also kind of a fun parallel to Easter is that on Pentecost Sunday, not the Vigil, just the Sunday Mass, we also have the sequence again.
Yeah, that's right, the sequence. Yeah. I always have to remember that because I always want to get up to sing the Hallelujah and stay seated.
Yes. Don't move.
And the servers usually are coming out because they're just used to it. If I forget to tell them before Mass.
Sequences are great.
I see 3 questions on here. Actually, I see a lot more than that. Let's see. Donna asks, I was wondering how you will want the First Communion children to receive the body of Christ. If on their hands, will they use their fingers of their other hand or use their tongue? Thanks. So we'll probably, at this point, be having to use our hand, I think. I know that of course, Archbishop Aitchen, in the beginning when all of this was happening, said that they were telling us to receive Holy Communion on the hand as opposed to receiving Jesus on the tongue. In the new language that I've seen come out, they're asking us to do that But I've also seen something from the USCCB, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, that said that people could receive on the tongue. So we'll kind of need to figure that out as we go on, right? So again, the universal norm for the church is to receive on the tongue. The exception to that rule is to receive on the hand for things like this, like the virus, right? So it's acceptable in those times, those examples. That's a good question. Yeah. So Lee asks, I see more division than ever during this time. Is this Satan pushing hard against is this his last hurrah? That's a good question. A tough question, I think. To be honest, when this first happened, when the virus first came out, the first thing, well, not the first thing, but early on, I went back and just kind of reread through the book of Revelation, and was kind of seeing the things that the Lord was talking about. And I think in comparison to what we see in the book of Revelation, this is something pretty small, right? I mean, it's big because it's affected our lives and changed the way that we live our lives. But in comparison to those things in the book of Revelation, it's pretty small. Although I do think that the devil's definitely trying to use it to create more and more division. And we see that, again, for a while we talked about that. I think you've talked about that also, right? In the beginning, there was some more unity, people just sort of being in solidarity together and feeling for each other. But that's definitely gone by the wayside, and people are using it as attacks against one another. Just stop it. Stop it. We're called to love one another and follow the Lord, right? Okay. Do you have anything to add to that?
I'm just wondering where murder hornets factor in. What phase in Revelation would that be?
Have I showed you the video of the guy who catches the murder hornet and forces it to sting him?
What?
Yeah, he's some guy who does this. He does videos of different things that have venom.
Is he the crocodile guy?
No, but he should. Maybe he is. I don't know. But he does it with all kinds of different insects that are venomous or whatever, as long as he doesn't think they'll kill him, I suppose. But he was in searing pain. It's pretty crazy, actually. So I don't know if he had a more averse reaction to it. I think that we've kind of gotten over worried about things like that.
Yeah, no.
Like the murder hornets, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want them to kill off the bees, but I mean, the bees are still alive over in China, and they've had them over there for a long time, right? Japan too. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Do you have any advice for people whose fear and anxiety is being heaped on essential retail employees? Any advice for the retail employees for coping? I'm not sure if I understand the first part of that question.
I think it might possibly, I could be reading this wrong, but that people, the customers in stores, are anxious and angry, and they want to get in and get their things and get out, and if they don't get what they want when they want it, then I've heard people being kind of chewed out, employees, by customers who want to return an item, but you're not allowed to return items right now because obviously if you take it into your home and then you want to, so yeah, lots of people got chewed out for that, and so.
If you're not sure you want to buy it, don't buy it. I guess if if it's not working though, that's another thing.
Yeah.
But then you've got to hang on to it, hang on to your receipt, and then you're going to have to take care of it, I suppose, when all of this is done.
Well, this is more in the grocery store sort of realm.
Yeah. So, but I think it gets back to just being charitable, right? So loving each other, especially because everybody's going through hard times, and it's a good point actually because people are a little short, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed it, John. I talked with John, our seminarian. I noticed it internally in myself at times. Even with him in the house, I don't think I ever let that out at all. But I noticed it in myself, and I thought, I've got to stop, put a check on there, and really And so I think since then, it's just making a conscious decision to say, okay, I realize I'm a little shorter, somebody's in my space, and I'm not accustomed to that. I usually live on my own, right? So,
Yeah.
But I think we have to work on that charity, and it's an opportunity to work on that charity and patience.
Patience is a big one.
Yeah. So that
I mean, when
virtue.
people are out of stock of toilet paper, you know, like, it's not
Use the
actually,
leaves outside.
it's not actually the clerk's fault. Like, they didn't actually stash all of it away.
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
think we're over that.
Right.
That
I
hurdle.
think it's now.
That was very strange.
Is sanitizer back in the stores yet?
Yes.
I don't know. Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
like small little ones, and they're like $4.
Oh, yeah. Oh, $4 for hand
That's pretty crazy.
sanitizer. That's expensive.
Just get some vodka and make your own.
Just wash your hands in vodka?
No, I think you have to mix it with aloe and something else. I
Oh.
read a recipe.
Okay. And advice for retail employees who are coping: prayer, right? I mean, prayer and patience also, and to realize that all of us are going through a tough time too, right? And so I know that that's hard, and I get it too, because there are times where people will grumble about things with me too, and I just have to say, okay, be patient, right? And that happens a lot as a priest. But so it's working on that patience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Other questions here who are on here? Let's see. That's lots of comments. So, why is extra ecclesiam nulla salus so controversial? Is this still doctrine? So, extra ecclesiam nulla salus is, do you know what that is?
Mm.
So outside of, it's translated outside the church, there is no salvation, right? So we talk about that, and that's a good question. We talk about that in terms of being stated in a negative theology sense, not in the sense of, we're not talking about it being bad or negative in that sense, but it's a way of saying something that's not as opposed to something that is. So that's been, in many ways, as we've come to understand even what that means, we would say that if it were not for the church, outside of the church, if the church didn't exist, then there would be that salvation continuing through the world, because the message of Christ wouldn't be continuing to be proclaimed in the world, right? Unless Christ came again, and that would be the second coming, and then there would be the need for the church here on earth. So, yes, without the church, there would not be salvation, is a way to say that, right, in a positive sort of sense. So the church, and even we talk about the Mass in particular, which most people are obviously unable to attend right now, but the fact that the Mass is still being celebrated throughout the world is the most important thing. I understand the desire to be there at Mass, and I hear it, and I think it's incredible to hear the growth in people that's there, and that increase in desire to participate in the Mass, to be present at the Mass. But the Mass being celebrated is the most important thing. So, for example, the saints would say that the earth could better survive without the sun than it could without the Mass. So the Mass is that important to us. It's more important than the sun in the sky for us in terms of humanity. So salvation continues, that message of salvation continues to be spread through the voice of the church. So yes, the teaching is still a teaching of the church. If salvation is able to come to someone who is outside the church, it's because that grace is applied to them. And that person is always left to God's mercy, right? So we know there's a certain way that Jesus taught us, this is how we get to heaven, and that's what we follow in the church. Is salvation possible outside of that? If they have, oh man, do I really want to open this can of worms?
Baptism of desire?
Well, no, it could be baptism of desire also in cases, but what the church calls, not what we call, what the church calls invincible ignorance, right? If there's a state of invincible ignorance, and it's not meant to be a pejorative thing, right? Like we're ridiculing someone saying, oh, you're just ignorant. It's not that kind of thing, right? Again, it's saying they have a lack of knowledge that's not able to be overcome because they've been taught something throughout their lives, right? So if a Muslim or a Buddhist, right, and they've been taught certain things, and then they hear this message of Christ, and they're like, that can't be true, right? Well, it is true, one, but if there's an invincible lack of knowledge that's there, right, then how can they be held accountable for that in the same way? So that's up to God's mercy, always up to God's mercy. It's a good question. It's a heavy question. This is supposed to be light time. No, it's a good question, Dina. Thank you for that. Let's see. What is the plan for letting us come back to Mass?
Oh boy.
The Archdiocese, we have, an 18-page document that's been sent to us that gives us sort of, this is how to get prepared, right? And so we're doing a lot of those things, and we're going to need a lot of people when we're able to be able to get back to Mass. We're going to need people who are going to be able to help check people in and all kinds of things. So, obviously, keeping social distance is going to be a requirement for us. We're going to have people be signing up for Mass, and we're going to use a website to do that. I think it's called Calendly. So we're going to use a website for people to sign up for the different Masses. You have to do that, or call into the office if you can't, if you're not technologically savvy, right? Like Jason is there behind the camera. Or you could, I suppose you could stop by at the office or drop a note, send a note in or something that's going to take a little longer to get there. So, but then it depends on how many people we're allowed to have come to Mass also. I feel like I'm talking a lot right now.
It's all good.
So, it's a super detailed plan, and we'll let people know about it as that time comes. Right now, it's something that the bishops have just simply submitted to the governor's office to say these are the things that we're planning on doing, and then he'll kind of ratify, or maybe we'll make some changes. So it's not finalized yet. So, okay. I don't know if there are other questions. Oh, but I also have to get back out to the Mass.
Oh, wow.
Is there something that you wanted to say?
No,
Anything you wanted to share with the people of St. Brendan, or beyond, for that matter? Maybe your family's watching.
Hi.
Like football players say, "Hi, Mom."
Yeah, exactly.
So
I miss everybody though. I miss all three of the choirs. I get to see periodically people from some of the choirs, but some of you guys I haven't seen for months now, and it's just very strange. RCIA, we've been meeting weekly via Zoom, which has been really nice. Yeah. But you can't really do a choir rehearsal via Zoom. That's a little bit different.
Have you tried to sing over Zoom, or even pray together over Zoom?
Exactly, praying together is a big giveaway.
Yeah.
We tried to conclude an RCIA with RCIA meeting with Our Father, and it was just a disaster.
Yeah.
It was just like this weird echo effect all over the place.
Yeah, everybody has to mute, right? Everybody mute. Have one person pray.
Yeah, exactly.
Which wouldn't do very well for a choir, right?
Yeah. Okay, listen to me sing for a while. That's all anybody's doing. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing actually. Also, we do have like the things that the diocese is saying about the choir, right? And we're not sure.
Yeah.
We haven't received word officially about this or not yet, but they're talking about we could have one cantor for the Mass, and the people in terms of the congregation might not be able to sing during the Mass, so it's a little bit complicated. They even suggested maybe that we use songs that people don't know, so that people don't try to sing and use Mass and not sing Mass parts, right? And so it's we don't know if all of that's going to come to fruition or not. And then the cantor, we can have one cantor. If we have two, then they have to be separated, but the cantor has to be 30 feet away from the nearest person when they're singing.
So I'll be in the parking lot.
Yeah. You can build a box just for Mary. Although
in the box.
We did talk about like maybe putting a shield out there, but then it would block the sound of your voice. There's just all kinds of problems, right? So it's
and it seems like it changes.
It changes all the time.
Because like last week it was 26 feet. Now it's 30.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what 4 feet. What changed there?
Neither do I. We live in crazy times. I think it's important to continue praying for each other. And I say this, I hope I say it a lot. Make sure that we're praying for those who are suffering from COVID-19 itself, those who have died, their family members, um, their friends, and people who are still sick with it right now. Obviously, doctors and nurses and people who are looking for medicines that will treat it, and vaccines in moral ways, right, that'll knock it out also. So lots of things to pray for, and we need to make sure that we're maintaining close to the Lord this time. Okay, well, I need to get out and make sure that I am attending to people's sacramental needs. So the church is open still for private prayer until 1 o'clock today, I think. Next week we'll be open until 2 because we have the later Mass also, and then we'll do this a little bit later. So next week we'll do this, I think, at 11:30. Because Mass will be at 10, we'll do this then at 11:30 next week. So we'll see you next week at 11:30. I don't know. I'm trying to do a different guest every week. So
I was going to ask, who's the next guest?
We might introduce the seminarians this way if they're ready to do
idea.
that. Yeah, I want to see how comfortable they might be on the camera.
Just force them into it.
All right. I think I've said we're done like 3 times now. Now we'll say goodbye. God bless you guys.
Bye.